Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Victoria Ewan. I am going to be talking to you today about how to create more time for yourself and how to, once you have created that, what to do about it, how to get the most out of it. So I'm just going to warn you today, it's a very busy morning in my house this morning. So we're going to get a few little interruptions. So that's just how family life works, isn't it? We try to blend it all in together sometimes. So today my daughter has her first kayak race around the Bustleton Jetty. And if you know the Bustleton Jetty, it's quite large. And so my husband is going along with her as well. So I've asked her to come and say goodbye because it will be halfway through this presentation. So thank you for letting me involve my family in my work and in trying to help you. So if you haven't already, you might like to go and get a pen and a pencil. And what I'm going to try and do today is show you some presentations, some slides. But last time it didn't work and I didn't actually realise that I was still filming myself. So if that happens, then you're going to have me the whole time. But if not, you'll get some slides as well. And those slides I can send to you at some stage. So as said, if you haven't got a pen and a pencil ready or already, maybe a cup of tea, maybe ask someone to go and grab your cup of tea. Try and really listen. I know when we have these webinars, it's very easy to multitask and to have 5 browsers up the top, a Facebook open and an Instagram open, and we're messaging on our phone and we're trying to get the breakfast ready for the kids, and we're half in and out of the shower, and it really doesn't create a calm way to learn anything. And I think my favorite word at the moment is monotasking instead of multitasking, because if we're multitasking, things don't get done properly. And this is something not just in the webinar, obviously, but in everything. Once we start monotasking, the time it takes to do things shortens so much because we're there. We're in the present moment. We're there. We're actually doing what we're meant to be doing. How many times have you walked into one room and said, "Oh, what am I here for?" Oh, and go back to the other room and say, "Oh, what am I here for?" And then you go back to another room and just waste so much time, unless that's your exercise for the day. It's going from room to room around your house. And that's where you try to find your 30. Anyway, I'm getting completely off task. So what I'm going to try is start your screen. I'm also going to turn on the question and answer. And so what will happen now is that I've got a little thing on the side of my screen and I can see if you're typing in a question. So you're most welcome to type in hello and introduce yourself. You're most welcome to, type in any question at any time. If I'm right in the middle of something, like I said, I will monotask and I will finish what I'm doing, and then I will answer you and get back to you. Okay, so just type in anything that you like. So let's see if I can get this screen happening today. It does tell me that I can, but you never know. Okay, so it's telling me start screen share. Yes, that's what I want to do. And I think it worked because my camera's gone off. Yay! Okay, so what we're talking about today is time for you. Time for you. How to create. Oh no, my camera's gone back on again. What's happened? I think I've turned my camera on again and I can only see my screen. All right, let's take a deep breath, Victoria, and start again. Nice. All right. Let's start again and do that again. And start screen share. Okay, time for you. How to create your relaxed home. We've got a 5-week program coming up. It starts on Sunday. It's so exciting. So it starts on Sunday. Yeah, I'll let you know a lot more about it later. But make sure you stay to the end. I've got a little bit of a surprise for you that I've kept a bit secret, and it's a bit of a gift for you for coming on this webinar. So why do we need to create this time for ourselves? You know, when you hear if you're in an airplane, you hear the air hostess saying, you need to put on your own mask before you can help anybody. And, you know, we hear things like that all the time. We know we need to take care of ourselves. But one thing that has become very apparent to me recently, I've started teaching a breast cancer encore program, which is after breast cancer surgery. They all say to me, I was looking after everybody else and I didn't take any time for myself. I was looking after the family, I was looking after my husband, I was looking after my work, and I didn't take that time for myself. Now, I'm not saying that is how the cancer was caused, but I am saying that this is something that they all say to me. So these people have all been through a horrific experience of recognizing that life is short and that life can change very rapidly, and life can change without our knowledge. It can just change, and with no rhyme or reason for a lot of the reasons. So all of these people said, I wish that I had taken more care of myself, because sometimes we get a big wake-up call to take care of yourself and put yourself first. So I'm all about prevention. I'm all about what can we do now before we have to say to ourselves, oh gosh, I really should have taken care of myself more. So we can't pour from an empty cup. If we think taking care of ourselves is selfish, it's not, because you can't actually give to others if you have nothing to give. Okay. So why? Why is this so important? Like I said, it can relate to cancer. Women's heart disease is on the rise. Obesity, because we're not taking care of our weight. We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not thinking about putting beautiful foods into our beautiful bodies. Diabetes is on the rise. Eating disorders, depression, anxiety, loneliness. I won't continue like this because it's pretty yuck, but there really is so many things that we can think of before all of these things happen. So let's just start there. So who am I to actually talk about this to you? I was an incredibly stressed out mum. Now you can see here I was doing everything I thought I should be doing, and I ended up wearing my hubby's jocks, which sounds a little strange, but I'll tell you the story. I was taking my kids to everything that I thought that they should be doing. I was trying to be the best, absolute best mum and wife and worker and colleague and friend and daughter that I could possibly be at the time of my life. I was taking my children to swimming lessons, and I had washed everybody else's clothes except for mine. I didn't have any knickers left. And so I had to change in front of everybody and put on my husband's jocks, which was really, really obvious who I was taking care of and who I wasn't taking care of. So I'm assuming that you can all think of something like that. Have you walked out of the house and told everybody to get their shoes 100 times, but you've walked out in your slippers? Have you come home from the beach sunburnt because you have put on everybody's sun cream and not yourself? It's not that great. So let's just have a little think about that. Okay, so I'm a yoga and I'm meditation and a mindfulness teacher. I am an author of a couple of stress management books, a paperback book and a couple of ebooks. I'm also an early childhood specialist. I have my Bachelor of Education, an on-call facilitator, which is what I was telling you about before with the breast cancer exercise course. I'm a small business owner. I love creating and being an entrepreneur. It really floats my boat. I love it. And I host workshops and retreats. That's another thing I absolutely love to do. I'm designer of the Yoga Card Deck series. So that is a pack of cards that you can keep on your desk. And I've just designed another one. It's so much fun. A chair yoga card deck, and I just designed a restorative yoga card deck because I love that. And I absolutely love learning. I can't stop. I'm just like a sponge all the time. So if you come across me and I'm looking intensely at you, it's because I'm learning from you. Some people find me quite intense, but I just love hearing what people say and learning from them. And I'm a blogger for health and happiness and prevention, like I said before. And so I'd like to try and figure out how we can carve out some more time for you. So we all have the same amounts of minutes in the day. It's just how we choose to spend them. Now, we all have different activities in the day. We all have different levels of energy in the day. And so this can't be a blanket. I can't tell you how to do that unless we sit down together and we have a cup of tea and I'll go through your timetable, and we can do that. That's okay, no problem. But what I'd like to try and do is give you just a few tips and ideas. This is just a quick webinar today, online class today, and I'm just giving you a few ideas for you to have a think about it, and then we can go into it later. If you're joining me in the 5-week program, we'll go into it in great detail. But if you'd like to call me at any other time, you can as well. So let's ask yourself, are you a morning person or an evening person? So think about if you have more energy in the morning and more energy in the evening. And we can think about what activity can I shorten or take out of my life. And we're going to go through all of these in just a little bit later in the webinar. And who can help me with an activity so I can have more time? And how can I change an activity to suit me more? So when I was saying all of that, I'd like you to think about what you were saying to yourself inside your mind. Were you being positive or were you being negative? A lot of the time that I speak to people, I hear every single excuse under the sun, especially when I get to this topic or the topic of weight and, well, really health in general, really. So if I say to yourself, you know, what activity can I shorten and take out of my life? A lot of people do this humph sound and say, huh, nothing. And tell you what, that was me a couple of years ago. I was negative Nanny the whole entire time. I couldn't figure out how anyone could help me. I couldn't figure out anything. It was just, yeah, my life was yuck, horrible. And I actually couldn't see that it would change, which made me even worse. So I'm actually here to help you. If you don't want my help, that is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. But when you are ready and you do want some help, I am here to help you, because I've done most of this myself, and it's taken me years and years and years. So I can give you all of these tips. I can shortcut this process for you. Only if you want me to, though. I'm not going to drag you along with me. Okay, so asking yourself, am I a morning person or an evening person? So earlier in my life, I was a morning person. And as you know, life changes. And so we need to change with it. After my kids, I found I was neither a morning person or an afternoon person or an evening person. I needed a lot more sleep because I wasn't getting too much in the night. So I found out that I can carve out some time in the middle of my day. So instead of rushing about and doing everything that I thought I needed to do when the kids had a rest or when they had some downtime after lunch, I had some downtime after lunch. So just finding these places that you can. I had, I still have, I have sleep apnea. And so before I got it checked, before I started taking care of myself, I had to stop driving after an hour and sleep on the side of the road. Now, so that was me taking my time out for myself, which was actually incredibly important because otherwise I would have fallen asleep on the road. So this is just to show you how absolutely important it is to look after yourself. Because if I hadn't taken that time out and stopped on the side of the road, I would have probably had a massive car accident and I wouldn't have been able to look after any of my family. So really, really important. Okay, so if you're a morning person, you may like to set your alarm and wake up an hour earlier. When I do that, it is absolutely beautiful outside. It is stunning. My husband just is very much a morning person and loves getting out of bed early in the morning because it really is it's a beautiful time of the day. But if you're a night person, perhaps you might like to turn off the TV and actually participate in life instead of watching it. You might actually like to have your own family feud questions and you might like to set up your own voice. What's the voice show? The singing show. You might like to set up a game with your family instead of actually watching it. You could, what's that show? That Bachelor show they're always talking about. Maybe you could pretend with your family that you're doing some sort of bachelor. I don't know. Let's just, be creative. Have a dance party. Have a Friday night dance party every Friday night with your family. Give someone a call. Give your mum or your dad a phone call. Give your girlfriends a phone call. Pop off that TV. Okay. So what activity can I shorten or take out of my life? So we all have a lot to do. We all have so much time. And often we jam-pack too much into our lives. Sometimes, like I said before, we think we have to do, 100 activities with our kids after school. So that's what I thought I should be doing. I tried to give my children every single opportunity. So I booked them into everything. And I was exhausted and they were exhausted and we just didn't get some time to play. I still do activities with my children after school. And today, actually, my son and I are off to lifesaving. But we've got the afternoon to play. And I've got the afternoon to play because I'm off to a workshop so I can spend some time doing some me time as well, doing some things that I love to do. Okay, so what can you take out of your life? Can you unsubscribe to things so you're not getting onto your email and spending 10 minutes deleting everything? Can you be ready to say no to being a volunteer again. If you choose to be a volunteer, that's great. If being a volunteer makes your heart sink, don't do it. Being a volunteer really floats some people's boats. They love it. And I love it. But I don't like being a volunteer to every single group. So saying no is incredibly difficult for a lot of people. So you might need to practice in the mirror before you actually do it. You might need an excuse, or you might like to say to them, my life is full, thank you for the opportunity, perhaps another time. And it's, just say thank you very much. If you're a person that has been on the playgroup committee for 5 years and your kids are at high school, they're not even at playgroup anymore. No, that's a silly example because that wouldn't happen. If you are, if you're on a committee and your life's moved on, your life's changed, your heart's not in it anymore. That's not good for the group either. So try and find someone else to take over. So what else can we take out of our lives? Sometimes when we're at work, we feel as though we need to stay and just earn those extra brownie points. But most of the time, no one's watching anyway. So go home, spend some time with your family, spend some time for you. And perhaps stop watching terrible brain-numbing shows on TV. That seems to be a bit of a thread through this. A lot of people spend so much time in front of the TV. And if we just take out a little bit of our TV watching time, it's incredible how much we get done. Someone asked me the other day, how do you get all this stuff done? How do you do all of this stuff? How do you write a book? How do you find time to write a book? I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV for about 7 years. I have just started watching The Project. So I do watch TV now, but I turn The Project on at 6:30, I think it's on, and the TV goes off at 7:30. And so we've got so much time. It's quite amazing how much time. I do watch movies, but as I said, it's on my time. I choose when I want to do that. If you really like watching TV and that's your time, that's your me time, I'm not telling you to stop. I'm just telling you to think. I'm just asking you to think about it. Okay. So who can help me with an activity so I have more time? So are you able to outsource things? Sometimes we think these things are expensive, but if we're working 5 days a week, we should be able to try and find a little bit of money to make our lives easier. So can we outsource perhaps ironing? Can we outsource perhaps a clean every 2 weeks? Can we outsource some cooking? I know that there's a lot of people that if they're on farms and they're still cooking for seeding and harvest time, that kind of thing, and they're working full-time out of the house, or they're working full-time in the house, they've got very small children and they don't have families around them like they used to, perhaps we can outsource some of this cooking. There is beautiful, beautiful home-cooked frozen meals that we can buy from gorgeous people who have made that this is their business. Can we outsource some work? I was just talking to one of my friends yesterday and I said, perhaps we can share a VA. And a VA is a virtual assistant. So perhaps you can outsource some of our work. Perhaps we can outsource some lawn mowing, some car washing. There's lots of things that we can outsource. Perhaps we can get all of our family to help with maybe making the beds, maybe washing the dishes, maybe vacuuming, maybe cleaning the bathrooms. Now, it may not be done perfectly, but and you're going to give you as much needed help as you can. And you're actually setting up really, really good practices for your kids later on. And you're making it easy for them later on. Perhaps we can set up a babysitting or a date night roster. So friends of mine, when we had little kids and we were stay-at-home workers, we were working full-time mums, we said to ourselves, okay, we need some time out with our hubbies, we need some date times. So I used to go over and babysit once a month for my girlfriend, and my girlfriend used to come over and babysit once a month for me. So it wasn't an expensive thing, and it was great. It was really, really good. Okay, what is something else here? How can we change an activity to suit me more? So think about the activities that you do during your day and how can you tweak it so it suits you more. So if your children do after school activities, I know last term my kids were doing 2 days of hockey after school and hockey training. And so I used to take a walk around the block. Sometimes I took a walk around the block by myself, but sometimes I took a walk around the block with one of my kids and we had a really beautiful chat. It was really, really nice. And so perhaps meeting up with friends after the food shopping and promising to make each other laugh. Now that making each other laugh, I really purposely added that in because a lot of the times when we meet up with friends, it can just be a bitch fest. It can just be a time to whinge and whinge and whinge. And I know that we all need to get it off our chest at some stage. But if we end things with a laugh, if we make each other laugh as well, that is so important for your mental health. So if you need to have a whinge, do it, but also think about trying to have a laugh with your friends. Okay, if you can't meet up physically with your friends, perhaps just give them a call, not a text, a call. And find a workout buddy that loves doing the same things at the same time as you. It really keeps you accountable. I know there's a girlfriend who goes to a friend's gym. She set up a gym in their garage and they go to the gym once a week. Well, they go to her garage once a week. And she said, if I wasn't doing this with somebody else, I wouldn't do it. I'd make excuses. So it's a really good thing to have an accountable buddy to do these things with as well, to help each other along. So when you do get the time, what do you do with it? What really lights up your soul? What makes you zing? A very good girlfriend of mine swims and swims and swims. She's one of those people that swims to, well, she's done it once, she swam to Rottnest Island. I couldn't think of anything worse. That does not light up my soul at all. And if I asked her to come to a Kundalini yoga class, she would balk completely. But what really lights up your soul is going to be completely different, perhaps, to your even best friend. So think about what lights up your soul. You might need to think way back because you might not have done anything that lights up your soul for a long, long time. So what gives you that joy? And things change as well. What gave me joy a couple of years ago doesn't give me joy anymore. And so I've changed and it's okay. It's all right. I just probably need to sell all of my card making stuff now. Okay, and what makes you feel satisfied at the end of your time out? What makes you feel really satisfied and not guilty and not grumpy, but really satisfied? And allowing yourself to enjoy it and being grateful. And I think I said in the last webinar, or maybe it was for the 5-week program. Start small. So start with 5 minutes, and then your family gets used to it. And then start with 10 minutes, taking some time out for yourself, and your family gets used to it. And then half an hour, and then an hour. And then in a couple of weeks' time, you might be able to take a couple of hours. And then a couple more weeks' time, you might be able to take half a day. And just lead up to it and lead up to it, because if you've taken no time out for yourself ever, or for a very long time, if you take out a weekend for yourself, you're probably going to spend the whole weekend feeling really guilty about it and wondering what they're doing and wondering if they miss you and, wondering if anything's getting done and what sort of mess it's going to be when you get home. So just take 5 minutes to start with. Just have a walk around the block. People aren't going to miss you too much. You're not going to miss them too much. And everyone's going to have a win-win situation. So just start small, start fun. So respecting our bodies. Once we start respecting and loving and taking care of ourselves, the magic starts. Like I said, take that 5 minutes and you'll notice a change already. We start to stand upright. We start to, when we're loving ourselves, our heart increases and our chest rises and our shoulders drop. We start thinking about what goes in our mouth. Once we start respecting and are loving ourselves, I do wonder how many Krispy Kremes we're going to put in our mouth. And I'm only saying Krispy Kremes because that's been my weakness lately. There's been one that's moved into town, unfortunately. But I really need to think about it. I need to think, does that really need to go inside my mouth? And then we can start thinking about what goes inside our minds. Does that friend or does that person who is constantly bitching about other people, do I actually have to listen to that all the time? Is that respecting my mind? Is that going to help my mental health? Is that going to help my health at all? Is it going to help hers? Sometimes you need to listen to friends, they need to have a bitch and then they realise, oh good, I've got that out, that's fine. But we all know one of those people that just constantly are bitching about other people. And do you know what? Do we need to be around that? Just have a little think about what goes into your mind. So we can start thinking about what and who surround us. Like I said, thinking about who we spend our time with. Thinking about what we spend our time around. If you start respecting yourself and your body and your surroundings, often plants and flowers start coming into your life, which is nice. Cleans the air, good for the soul. So the program that we're going to be doing, the 5-week program, I'd love you to join me. It starts on November the 1st. We'll be diving so much further into creating that self-love in week 2. But we'll also be talking about the love languages. If you haven't heard about those, they're really, really good ways of learning how your family communicate and learning how you communicate and how you can communicate better. And I find that it's not just my family. I find that I can think of the love languages that my friends use and I can communicate better with them. And in week 3, we're going to learn how to meditate and create mindfulness in your life. Now, if you haven't heard how beneficial meditation can be for your health and well-being, you might be living underneath a rock. There's been so much scientific evidence that has come out recently about how stopping and relaxing our minds is so important for our health. Our minds go at such a fast pace these days that in the program, I'm going to give you a few different ways to meditate, because everybody does it in a different way, and I'd like you to find one that suits you. So I know even for me, it's incredibly hard for me to stop all thought, and that doesn't need to be what meditation is about. So I'll give you a lot more information in the week 3. In week 4, we're going to learn how to eat mindfully and to manage your weight and to never be on a diet again. So that sounds pretty cool. And in week 5, I actually want you to put this into your life and make the most of all of this learning. I've jam-packed so much into it. I'm giving these people a bonus, a gift pack, sending it to them. I'm actually starting to send them out tomorrow. And I've made a personal essential oil for everybody. I've got a journal coming out so that they can write how they're feeling throughout the 5 weeks. We've got a mala necklace for everybody, because that's another way to meditate. We've got so many things. Recipe book coming to them. I'm going to give them my book, my latest book, Will You Come to Bed With Me? And there's so many tips and techniques in there. So, that's what I was going to say. This is your surprise. Have we got to the end already? Wow. So this is your surprise. This is your self-love. I'm going to give you one of the meditations that you can get out of the book Will You Come to Bed With Me. In the book, there's 4 meditations. There's 3 adults ones, and there's one for children. And I actually did the one for kids in my son's class yesterday, and it was great. It was beautiful. So as soon as this online class is finished, I'm going to email you a link to that meditation, so you can find some time, like I said, find some time and give yourself a chance to relax and listen to the guided meditation. And I have been told that is the gift that the universe has given me, is a relaxed voice to help you along your relaxation journey. And so hopefully that meditation and relaxation will guide you through a way to be able to speak really nicely to yourself. So I'd love to hear how you felt after the meditation. And a really good thing to do also is to feel how you feel before you start the meditation. And I always say on a 1 to 10 basis, 1 being absolutely terrible, 10 feeling fantastic. Just give yourself a number. And then once you finish the meditation, give yourself another number then and see how you feel. Okay, so I'm going to email that to you. Now, if you have any questions or if you would like me to answer anything for you, my email is victorias@victoriasplaceonline.com.au. So now what are we going to do with all of this information that I've given you? You can just say, yep, that's a good idea, Vic. Yep, thanks for your time. See you later. And you're not actually going to change. And like I said before, it's absolutely fine. It's your choice. You choose. Absolutely, you choose. You might be one of those people that come up to me at least once a year for 7 years and say, yep, I'm going to do one of your things one day. And I'll just keep going, that's great. You can. Whenever you want to. I'm here for you. I have been for the past 7 years, and I'll just keep waiting. Okay. But I do invite you to start with me on the 5-week program. Like I said, it's starting on the 1st of November. So you can choose whether to go gung-ho. There's so much information in this program. I'm actually a little bit concerned that I've put too much information in. But you can decide to do it, you know, and do the program every single week, or you can decide to keep the program there and just do it at your own time, whenever you can find time to do it. Okay, so we go into all of these ideas that I've been talking about, but so much more. And I'm available at any time throughout the 5-week program to support you the whole process. I really, really would like to see this program work for as many people as possible, because, you know, my kids are growing up in this world, your kids are growing up in this world, perhaps your grandchildren are growing up in this world. And wouldn't it be beautiful to have this world relaxed and not stressed? You know, I just think we're all going to meet each other at some stage, and you might be my nurse, and I really would like you to be relaxed while you are injecting me with something. You might be the person driving next to me in the road, and I would really like you to be relaxed in the car and not stressed. I'd really like you to be thinking about your driving as you are coming around the roundabout and I'm coming the other way. I'd really like you to be relaxed when we meet that way. Yeah, I don't want to meet you any other way, really. Okay, so I'm going to put myself back on. Am I there? Ah, there I am. Hi, I'm back. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer you. I did get a few messages throughout that webinar saying that some people couldn't get on. So I will send out a link to this, especially as I know I speak very quickly as well. So I'll send out a link to this to those poor people that were emailing me and texting me throughout that webinar saying, it's killing me, I can't get on. So thank you for those. Thank you for those texts, and I'm grateful for your perseverance through that and your interest in improving yourself. So there's lots of things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. There's some decluttering workshops. There's some live decluttering workshops. The 5-week program starts on Sunday. I'm coming to Katanning on Saturday and teaching my absolute favourite class, teaching the declutter and stress management workshop, and then restorative yoga class, and then a beautiful yoga nidra meditation after that. And then I'm going to Narrabeen after that as well and doing that too. So yeah, I'm really, really excited, really excited. I wanted to show you also the latest book that's out, Will You Come to Bed With Me? And just to let people know as well, the reason why I wrote the title, Will You Come to Bed With Me, is because I teach people to relax. Like I said, I teach people meditation, and I've had so many people say to me, gosh, I get to sleep with your voice. I can't get to sleep any other way. And I say, will you come to bed with me? And I say, really? Yeah, you can download some of my meditations, but that's probably the only way I'm going to come to bed with you. No, I don't say that. And it's actually quite amazing. I had the beautiful opportunity to teach on Friday, teach a yoga class for a teacher who couldn't make it, and I taught my favourite restorative yoga, and I had all the participants with bolsters along the wall and their legs right up the wall, so not the most comfortable position, And this fellow was absolutely snoring his head off. And I thought to myself, if he wakes up suddenly in that position, he's going to freak himself out. What am I going to do? How am I going to wake up this fellow? So it just amazes me, after 8 years of teaching meditation and yoga, what sort of positions I can put people to sleep in. It's really quite bizarre. So anyway, I touched his pulse point very gently and very softly, and he just sort of woke up very gently, which was nice for him and for me. I'm glad he didn't freak out. But I did have to stop his snoring because I think it was upsetting some other people. Okay, so if you haven't got any more questions for me, I will scoot and I'll go and do surf life saving with my son and wave off my daughter for her first kayak around the jetty. She's only 10 and I don't think I could kayak around that massive jetty. Anyway, she astounds me every day. So yeah, if you don't have any questions, I might even see you at this afternoon's workshop. I'm going to a workshop to improve myself as a parent, which is, yeah, I always learn something, always meet incredible people. So I hope to meet you sometime. If I already know you, I hope to see you sometime, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.